Okay, so this is homework number 4. Homework 4, due on Friday. This will be the last assignment we have. That's due before our Thanksgiving break. We'll be off for a whole week, so hopefully you have a good week for Thanksgiving, with family or friends or whoever. And then we'll come back and we'll just be ready to roll after that. So we are going to have a CDB when we come back. Not that week we come back, but the week after. So we'll talk more about that when we get back. And we see y'all. So, all right, number 1. What is the value of 8 to the 4th power divided by 16? So you can put that in your calculator, exactly how it looks. So we'll do control divide. When it's asking for the value, that's just what is it when you put it in your calculator and you hit enter and you get the number. So that's all we're doing here on number 1. So we'll hit control divide. Make the fraction bars, the fraction bar, and then on top we'll put 8 to the 4th, so 8, and then that little caret to the 4th power, and then we'll go down, and then we'll put 16 as my denominator, and then we'll hit enter. We're going to get that this is 256. There's not much work that you need to show on this one. If you did it in the calculator, you can just put it in the calculator. But its answer is 256. All right. Okay, that one was easy. So let's go to number 2. Number 2 is a little more challenging. Actually, let me move this up a little bit. There we go. All right. So number 2 says that a cake recipe requires 2 3/4 cups of flour for 12 servings. The cups of flour varies directly with the number of servings. How much flour is required to make a cake that serves 30? So what we're going to do is we're going to make a proportion, just like what we were doing before the break, with similar figures, and then also we're going to make a label here. Obviously our label is going to be cups of flour and then servings. Okay, so let's get going on there. We're going to have cups of flour, so I'm just going to put a C on top for cups of flour. That's what that stands for. And then an S for servings as my denominator. That's what that stands for. So we're going to make our proportion just like that. Okay. So my first ratio here is going to be the 2 3/4 and then the 12. So 2 3/4, we can make that into a decimal, right? So 2 3/4, just above it, 2 and then plus 3/4 and then hit enter if you need to do it in the calculator, is 2.75. It's a lot easier to put this than that with the fraction. So we're going to use 2.75 here on my numerator. And then 12 servings is what goes there. Now let's look at my question and see what we had put on the second ratio to make this proportion complete. How much flour is required to make a cake that serves 30? So if we're serving 30, that goes with the servings here on the bottom. So 30 is going to go here. X is going to be the cups of flour we're trying to find out. So X and 30. Alright, so now we have our proportion. We're just going to solve. Okay, we should know how to do this by now, right? So 12 times X makes 12X equals, and then 2.75 times 30. 2.75 times 30. We get 82.5. Alright, so now from here we just divide by 12, right? Hopefully we're getting this down by now. Divide by 12, divide by 12. That makes 1. X equals, so let's put that in our calculator and see what we get. We're going to get 6.0 875. There we go. I'll zoom out so we can get all the work in. Just like so. Alright, let's go on to number 3. Number 3, suppose y varies directly as x and y equals 16 when x equals 8. Find y when x equals 16. So on our next test, we're going to have a question like this. So we need to make sure that we know how to do this. Now this isn't asking for like y equals anything, mx plus b. This is just a proportion problem, just like we just got done doing on the last one. So like instead of cups of flour and servings, here we're going to have x, oops. We can just make it x and y, x over y if you want, or you can make it y over x. X over y, and then our proportion is going to look like so. So here on top, x, y is 16 when x is 8. So that's what's going to go here on this first ratio of the proportion. So y is 16 when x is 8. Make sure you don't get your numbers mixed up there. So here's what our question asks. Find y when x equals 16. So x is 16, y is x. Alright, so it's okay that my x is here on the bottom because we're doing the same thing like I said before. So 8 times x, what we'll do first, gives me 8x, and then that equals 16 times 16. We get 256. Alright, let me move this up some. Okay. So lastly, divide by 8, divide by 8, this makes 1, right here, that makes 1, x equals 256 divided by 8, we're going to get 32. Let's box that in, there we go. Out there, nice. Okay, so x equals 32. All right, number 4. Classify negative 7.0. So we're classifying: is it a natural number? Is it a whole number? Integer, rational, irrational, and real number. So negative 7.0, first of all, is it a whole number? Whole numbers can't have a negative sign, okay? So it's not a whole number, it's not a natural number, because natural numbers can't have negative signs either. So we're down to integers. So integers, yes, do have a negative sign. They can't have decimals, but in this case, it works out okay because the decimal is 0.0. If it was like 0.2 or 0.1 or point anything else, then it couldn't be an integer. But since it's 0.0, then that means that this is an integer. So we got an integer. Okay, now next, can it be a rational number? Yeah, it could be a rational number because rational numbers have decimals. Even if this wasn't just 0.0, if it has decimals and it is a negative, it can be rational also. So that's a rational number. And lastly, it is a real number because everything is a real number. So there we go. Integer, rational, and real. Alright, that's number 4. Okay, number 5. Based on the graph below, what is the unit rate? So we're talking about unit rates again. So we need to find out when here we have distance traveled in miles and then the time in minutes. Okay. So with this Mickey's bike ride, what we're really trying to figure out is the time in minutes. That's going to be on top. So like what I'll put here is minutes. over miles. Because we want to find out how many minutes it takes to bike ride 1 mile. Even though the miles is here, it just wouldn't make sense that we're trying to find out how many miles in 1 minute. Okay, so we're going to have the minutes over the miles. So what I need to do is just find a point here. I can pick any point. I'm going to do this in red, and I'll make them a little bit big. So like there. So I can pick any one of these points and look. So in 20 minutes, it takes you ride 6 miles. So let me go back, get my black pen. 20 minutes, we bike 6 miles. So if I do this, I divide that, it's going to give me my unit rate. Okay? So 20 divided by 6. 20 divided by 6. Control Enter. Okay. We get 3.333 repeating, right? Goes on and on and on and on forever. So in this case, I'm going to move over. The unit rate is, we'll say 3.33. We'll just leave it there. Minutes per mile. I went off on this one, but I'll zoom out. Okay, so don't worry about that. Okay, so 3.33 minutes a mile. There we go. All right. Number 6. Kind of running low on battery, so kind of need to go a little bit faster. Using a table below, write an equation in slope-intercept form that describes the relationship between x and y. So I'm going to go find my slope and my y-intercept, and then that way I can make my equation. So I'm going to go to the y's first. 16 minus 15.5. Okay, we're going to get 0.5. And we keep going. If we do that, we're going to get the same thing here on all these. 0.5 and 0.5. So that's going to be my numerator. Now I'm going up here to my x's. I'm going to find out -3 minus -2. Okay, so this is why I tell you it's important to write it this way. Most people are going to see this and be like, oh, it's 1. Okay, but if it's dealing with negatives, -3 minus -2. It's actually -1. So here, -1. Here, -1. I'm just writing it next to it because I'll be writing it in the words if I didn't up here. So, so -1 is going to go here on the bottom. All right. So my slope -0.5 over -1. So that really is going to be -0.5. So that's what that is. So now we got the y-intercept. I need to go find where x is 0, and I'm lucky because I do have one where x is 0 right here. So just like I did the other day, this is going to be in blue. There is my y-intercept. So that is 14.5. 14.5. There we go. So now I can write my equation. Y equals -0.5x plus 14.5. Alright, let me zoom out some so you can see the work. Give you a few seconds to do that. let's go to number 7. Sorry about that. Alright, number 7. Based on the picture below, what is the value of S? Okay, so we have similar figures here. So we're going to make a proportion. Okay, so we need to label our sides, side A and side B. Whoops. That's ugly. So side A and side A. Side B and side B. Just like that. Okay? So now we're going to have A over B. Set up our proportion. This is going to be the smaller triangle, so 5 over 4. This is going to be the bigger one, so S and 6. S and 6. So now I'm ready to solve. Okay? So I'm multiplying the 4 times S first. It's going to give me 4S. Equals, I'm making my S's kind of look different than the 5's. 5 times 6, which is 30. So now I can just divide by 4. Divide by 4. That makes 1. We have S equals 30 divided by 4. We get 7.5. That's my answer. Box that up. We're good. Yeah. Let me move down so you can get it all in. Here we go. Alright. Number 8. A line starts at the point 0, 5 and goes up 4 units as it goes right 2 units. Write an equation in slope-intercept form that describes this situation. So 0 and 5, x is 0, so this is my y-intercept of 5. Okay, so if it goes up 4, that is my change in x, or change in y, sorry. And if it goes to the right, that's my change in x. So just like if we were on the graph, okay, and we're going up 4 and then to the right there, that's my numbers that are going to go here for n. So 4 goes here on top and 2 goes there. So once I reduce this, it's going to give me my slope. 4 divided by 2 is 2, so that's n. Okay. Now my y-intercept, like I said, if x is 0, then that's my y-intercept. That's 5. So now that I have these two numbers, I can write my equation. Y equals 2x plus 5. So that one wasn't that difficult. It's just something that we kind of maybe haven't gone over in a while. A question that looks that way. So that's it. Number 9. Destiny and Eleni are building snowmen. Destiny is adding 2 centimeters of snow to her snowman every minute and is already 56 centimeters tall. Eleni is adding 4 centimeters of snow to her snowman every minute, but she just started. Write an equation that shows when Eleni's and Destiny's snowman will be the same height. So, the same height. So we need Destiny. We're going to put Destiny over here. Destiny. We need a variable and a constant. So Destiny, if we look, 2 centimeters to her snowman every minute. So we're adding 2 every minute, not 56. So 2 is what goes with the variable. Oops. 56 is my constant. Now Eleni, she's adding 4 to her snowman every minute, so that's 4x. She doesn't have a constant because she hasn't started building it yet, so she's at 0. So if we write an equation here, it's just going to be 2x plus 56 equals 4x. If you put plus 0, that's fine. You can do that too, but you don't have to. Only if I
so we need to hurry up on this last one.
All right. Okay, number 10. Solve the equation for x. Okay, so solving for x, we need to distribute this that's in here first. Okay, so we have 2 times 2x, which will be 4x, and then 2 times positive 3, which will be plus 6. We still have the minus 2, and then that equals 5. In blue, I can combine these like terms right here on this side before I go any further. So I'm going to have 4x plus 6 minus 2 is plus 4. That equals 5. Okay. The inverse of plus 4, which is minus 4 and minus 4. 4x, that z's out, equals 1. Sorry, I'm going fast. I don't want my thing to die on me. And then divide by 4, divide by 4. This makes 1. So we have x equals 1/4. There we go. We made it. Now let me go charge this up before we go. Let me zoom out some.